Hi, I'm Melanie Barr. Welcome to the She Built It Experience with Melanie. You're here because you want to experience the life and business that you crave. Join me as I talk to women who have successfully built it, a career and business that they love. We dive into the topic of how they built it and talk about everything from having the courage to make career leaps to the details of how to lead effectively, create successful teams, implement strategies for growth, and infuse tech innovation. Magic happens when we focus on the part of ourselves and our business that brings us joy. So let's dive in. Meg Byrne is the founder of Harmony Marketing, a Los Angeles-based women-owned and operated boutique marketing firm offering creative and elevative solutions for strategy, branding, and experiences. Meg, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Melanie.
Tell us more about who you are, about your early career experiences, and what led you to create and launch Harmony Marketing.
The past 16 years have been a roller coaster of fun within the marketing and branding space. First starting out in Denver, Colorado, and now here in Los Angeles for about the past 10 years. I have been in the corporate world most of my career and have learned from some of the best. A mutual friend of ours, Tracy Sang, Los Angeles Magazine, who is just a dynamite marketer. But the juxtaposition was really around wanting to climb that corporate ladder and what that path looked like, and realizing that there wasn't a straight path to what exactly I wanted to do. I loved the corporate culture and I loved the structure and the consistency of what corporate life can give someone, but there's a lot of red tape a lot of times. Red tape is not something that we want to be constantly going up against, and we want to be able to throw ideas at the wall and see what sticks. And that's really where some of the most creative branding and marketing campaigns have come from, is having that flexibility. So my background, I have a BA in marketing from the University of Denver and an MBA in marketing from Regis University. As I said, about 16 years of my career within different industries, from marketing coordinator roles, starting off and paying my dues, and really just trying to absorb all information and seeing what leaders were doing. And I would take from them not only what they were doing right, but I've also learned from a lot of leaders as to what I didn't want to do and how I didn't want to manage or lead, which I think is just as important. And it's just as imperative to have those kinds of bosses and leaders in your career to get you to realize the type of individual and leader that you want to be.
Absolutely. And Tracy Sang being one of those, she is incredible.
Incredible.
Isn't it so great that we can look around, and if we see a role that hasn't been created yet, or a way that we can help people, that we can just decide to create it?
Yes.
Tell us more about Harmony Marketing and how you help brands and businesses to become more aware to their followers.
I love it that you said followers. The common factor is the audience. Whether you're building a brand, whether you're selling a product or a service, at the end of the day, it's all about the target audience and backing into that formula. I was always told by my parents, and my father especially, who's an entrepreneur, that I could be anything that I wanted to be. That is absolutely something that I attribute to my success today, is having that support. And if you don't have that from your given family, then hopefully there's chosen family or mentors that can go out there to teach you that you really can achieve whatever you want to achieve. But what was interesting, the advice I was always getting from senior leaders or senior management was you should pick something and specialize in it and become that expert. And that's how you're going to be successful. And it was really at Los Angeles Magazine with Tracy Sang that I realized, and I don't know if she even consciously knows that she gave me this bit of knowledge with marketing and branding. We can span so many different industries, because it all comes down to your target audience and working backwards in what goals you're wanting to achieve with that audience, whether it's increasing your KPIs, whether it's selling X more products, whether it's getting a service in front of said target population. You're really backing into your plan of action from there and making sure, again, the branding speaks to that audience. Color in branding and messaging in marketing some of the most famous brands just do it.
Very simple.
Yeah. And
but so memorable, and everyone knows it.
And everyone knows it. Things like that, of having something that you're going to be able to be remembered by. As I started Harmony Marketing, people ask, well, what industry are you going to specialize in? And I said, it's not about the industry. I really do want to focus on empowering females. It could be young brands. It could be established brands that need a fresh perspective, and coming in and turning their world upside down in a way of, instead of trying to really figure out the formula to identify what the solution will be, we work backwards from the solution to identify the formula and readjust that formula.
And I love how you said already established brands, because the branding sometimes can change over time. And sometimes you need to change it and have a fresh perspective and a fresh outlook.
Absolutely. I think that's one of the biggest things that established brands can get into. Take your Estee Lauder, your Coca-Cola, some of your brands that have been around for a very long time, even some of the centuries, right? Your Goyard, Louis Vuitton. One of the things that Louis Vuitton's creative director did, I want to say maybe it was about 3 years ago, Nicholas, he came in and he completely changed the color palette. And they were just pushing the envelope in so many edgy ways for that brand that was needed, because the individuals that respected its timelessness are still buying that brand. And now they speak to a younger audience that they're growing their target demographic. So I think that they did an incredible job of that transition.
It's great that they were able to pivot and
Yes.
also still appeal to such a broad audience.
I would love to have 10 minutes with him just to pick his brain on if that was a conscious effort or if that was really just a result that came to be with his creative genius. We talk about a lot here. Marketing is not just your print ads or your digital or your social that you see today. Some of the biggest strategy campaigns that we work with clients are around influencer promotions. And influencer programming is kind of a wide term that categorizes from bloggers turned Instagram, like Ami Song, who has millions of followers around the world, or it can be a celebrity that unknowingly is an influencer, whether they like it or not. So when they're dressed with these different brands or become brand ambassadors for the brand, they're already speaking to a certain target audience that is so nicely tied into that influencer promotion.
It's so interesting. And I actually love how marketing has evolved in that way. I think it's so much fun. How has your early career experiences influenced you as a business leader in leading your company? And how does that experience help your clients, your leadership style, and assist you in managing Harmony Marketing?
My management style and leadership style has evolved over time. I used to be very much a type A perfectionist. And it's taken therapy and a lot of other things to slowly let go of that type A. But what it had taught me was no matter how hard I grasped onto every little detail of a Lexus launch event that we did at Los Angeles Magazine, for example, making sure that every detail was perfect for that client. And if something were to go wrong, you have to the audience, to the client in that case, and to the individuals that are coming to the launch event, everything needs to look seamless. But behind the scenes, anyone that has produced events before knows that even when everything goes right, there's still something that didn't go exactly as planned. It's quite interesting. In my career, I've probably produced over 300 events between Denver and Los Angeles. Not once is there like everything that goes exactly right. And you're just like, how is this? There's always just, somebody was a little bit late or something was off cue. That's where kind of this planning for A, B, and C scenarios came in to play. And I think that flexibility and thinking through that kind of helped with the just going into it knowing something's going to go wrong, helped really to take away the perfectionist side, because how I lead now at Harmony Marketing is with authenticity and being able to say, oh, I'm not really feeling so great about this. Like, we should be watching out for being honest. And I talked a little bit about it in the blog that we did together on this toxic positivity. Instead of trying to keep it all in for your team, right? To make sure that your team's not seeing you sweat and you're holding it all in. you're a team for a reason. If everyone knows like, okay, guys, here are the things that we're looking for today. Here's the things that may go wrong. Or when something does go wrong, that you have a team that's coming together and not panicking for whatever it is. It could be something that like the print ad got run wrong. And, what do you do to fix something that's permanent like that? Right. Versus like if a digital ad gets thrown up on, ROS and it's wrong, that can easily be switched out, but print can't. So just knowing that there's going to be things that go wrong, and it's how you address it. And it's how we all learn from whether it's little failures or big failures, and that it's okay. For me, it came down to almost like it was a little bit of an adrenaline rush when things went pretty good, or if they went well enough to where it was, you felt almost this euphoria. But at the end of the day, when I was empowered by my teammates, Tracy sang as one of them, she would, no matter what happened or what went wrong, it was looking at the good. What did we accomplish here? Let's talk about our wins today. And everything else we'll figure out. Leading with authenticity and empowering team members to go towards their strengths. And if they're open to learning about their weaknesses and wanting to evolve those and change those, that we have the tools and the space, both mental space and physical space, to allow them to evolve as humans.
And we're all human. And you're so right. When you give your team the space to possibly make a mistake, they're probably going to do their job even better, because you're right. They're not operating from that sense of fear. When we do an event or you host something for your clients, you want it to go really well. Sometimes the clients do know, but as you know, from an event perspective, sometimes the event goes off really well and behind the scenes what hasn't worked, but everyone at the event thinks everything's fabulous.
That's the best kind of event, because
right.
Then we call the team dinner afterwards, and we're all like, you can all have the little chuckles. It's the inside scoop, right? Of like, can you believe that what didn't happen or didn't, like, and at the end of the day, the client and the audience, they didn't know what to expect coming to the event. We know what we had planned, but they didn't know what to expect. And what they had was a really great time, a very memorable experience. And in the case of what Harmony Marketing does, we produce events for brands. So making sure that the intended target audience is receiving that brand goal, we then have done our job. And hopefully in a way that is memorable, inspiring, just leaving people with that wow factor.
Tell us about a particular life or business experience that is memorable to you and that you carry with you today.
I would say not being afraid to try new things within and or outside of your industry, to understand what you're most passionate about and what is going to be your highest and best use as a professional. I think within this particular sector, individuals that I've talked to before is, where do I start? And I had the same overwhelming feeling coming out of undergrad of not understanding exactly where or what industry. Again, at that time, I was really focused on, and leadership that I respected was like, find an industry and find your niche. Well, I kept jumping around because I didn't know, or didn't like it from a gut feeling, was like, this doesn't feel exactly right. Like, let me try something else. I would say that it's okay to explore that way. One of the best advice that I received was just an informational interview with this woman who told me that if the individuals that I was interviewing with and the companies that I was interviewing with didn't see the value in my resume, then they weren't the right fit, versus putting so much pressure on me. And something about that was probably about 3 years ago now, really stuck with me to say, you know what? She's right. I'm a badass. So if they don't see how all of my different skill sets and everything that I've learned and the education that I have would benefit their company, I don't need to go there. And that actually turned into, I'm just going to go and do it for a bunch of different companies and launch Harmony Marketing. So I'm just grateful for individuals that have crossed my path and that support over the years to really dig your heels in and believe in yourself.
That was good advice. And it was so great that you continued to make those small leaps, because look at where you are today. I bet you bring all those different areas into your experience at Harmony Marketing and growing your company.
Absolutely. I'll refer back to things of, oh, when I was here, what experience could I pull from, or who do I know from that area that I could actually talk to, versus if I just stuck in one path, I wouldn't have all those different areas to pull from. So in hindsight, as they like to say, is always 2020. I'm very glad that I was able to have the experiences that I've had and lead to where they are today, so that I can give that to our clients. But also I look for that in team members, of really hiring people that have diverse backgrounds and that we're not overlapping too much. Because I think that helps us all to grow and teach each other as well. There's more diversity that way.
What gave you the courage to make your leap and say, I'm going to launch Harmony Marketing?
I was at my previous role as the marketing director with CBRE, a commercial real estate company, specifically at the Block in downtown Los Angeles, which is a 2.4 million square foot mixed use project. And I was there for a little over 4.5 years. And when I came on board, I was the only marketing team member, and I built a team. It was a constant growth and a constant evolution of the brand and this placemaking in a very key city within our greater city of Los Angeles. And it was just so dynamic. And I felt like I was really making strides. So not only was I enjoying what I was doing, but I was making an impact for society. And it got to a point where there was no future growth. And so I considered, where can I jump to next? And as I started looking, going back to that type of company that you want to work for and the flexibility that the tech companies, for example, your Netflix, your Facebook, your Twitter, provide for their employees, of being able to work from home, the employee benefits, pay rate, et cetera, is attractive in that flexibility of, I would say, work-life balance. And the super corporate side of where I had been for a while, again, a lot of that red tape. And when I started talking to people more and more about it, almost every person said, why don't you start your own company? And I hesitated. My dad is a successful entrepreneur and has been for the last 40 years, but I've seen the struggles that entrepreneurship can do. And I'm single with no kids right now. He is married to my mom and 2 kids and was the breadwinner of our family. So it's that pressure. It could be the cancer in me, that financial security.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
I hear you.
That was a really hard thing, to that constant every 2-week paycheck of walking away from that, because I knew that what I was giving my heart and soul to any of the companies that I've worked for, but that return was going to them. All those extra hours, it was so much that I was putting in. And my nearest and dearest family and friends said, if you put that into your own company, that's going to come back and it's going to build an ethos that you're really proud of. And I just said, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm a big believer in setting intentions. We can call it manifesting, but of setting those intentions, writing those intentions down, and being very strategic about where you put your energy. Because I've seen firsthand the things that I put my energy into and the things that I have written down come to fruition. And if I can do it, anyone can do it. Hire the people that are experts. That's another thing I will say with entrepreneurship, because being your own accountant and being your own CPA and your own, like listing off all the things that we really need help with, it's one of those where it's better to start off in the beginning, getting the right team in place and working your way towards figuring out what you're providing to the company. As you mentioned before, of the expertise. If you're always doing your QuickBooks and filing and doing everything else, you don't have time to build the business.
It's so true. And it allows you to do the things that you like to do.
Yes.
And brings in those experts to do the things that you don't necessarily like to do, that would take forever to try to figure out on our own. Right?
Yes, exactly. Starting Harmony Marketing, it felt right. And it also felt very scary. There was just a feeling that was like, yes, this is the right thing to do. And I feel very blessed that through initial conversations with individuals of saying, like, I think I'm going to do this, people, friends, former colleagues have reached out saying, like, now that you're out on your own, now that you're an entrepreneur, I'd like to hire you for this, or I'd like to hire you for that. So that's my indication that things are working. But I do think that there is still marketing at play. There was hiring a professional photographer and doing branded photo shoots, just things that going that extra mile to make sure things are done right.
It's so interesting because now today you can have a company, but then you might also want to bring a bit of your personal brand in there too. So if you decide you want to do that, finding that dynamic between the two can be challenging sometimes. And I'm sure hiring a company like Harmony Marketing can help to figure out those directions.
Absolutely. And what I always recommend is we do something called a marketing diagnostic, and we will go in and look at what a company is currently doing, what are their goals and objectives for the year, looking at what their strategy is, what they've implemented, and the results that have been achieved thus far, their budgets. We've always found that we will find something because our mindset is outside of the company. Sometime when you're in it and you're just a horse and blinders on, you're not really looking left and right. And we do like a full U-turn on the left and the right on how we get in and we dig and we search. And then we present it to our clients. And from there, they can then choose to redo their brand and do that with us, or do a brand refresh and what that would look like, or have us come up with a different marketing strategy and find ways to be more strategic about their budget. There's all different things that we can do. It's amazing how even some of the most sophisticated brands, certain departments may not be talking to each other. So when you have an outside consultant like Harmony Marketing looking at everything from a 360-degree view, it opens up some of those like, oh, well, PR wasn't talking to advertising and advertising wasn't talking to branding.
Mm-hmm. And it can happen.
Oh,
yeah. Definitely happen.
Definitely can. So yes, that is one of the things that we do and do well.
What do you like the most about what you do now?
I wake up every day inspired. One of the things that was missing in my corporate career of waking up knowing that I have the ability to impact an individual's company or a corporate company or an entrepreneur in a positive way that inspires them to be excited about what they're doing too. And that inspiration, and don't get me wrong, not every day's rosy cheeks and excitement, as I talked about with the whole toxic positivity, but inspiration, I think, is really important to have in whatever you do, personally or professionally. And that motivation behind knowing that I'm helping in a way that is giving back through knowledge and through innovation, and in ways that are also really enjoyable. What we've heard from clients that we've worked with is that they had a really fun time working with us. Like that was one of the quotes that we got back was, I didn't realize how much fun this was going to be going through these exercises and diving into all of this. So to be able to bring joy, especially to an established company that maybe hasn't looked at their brand in 10 years. They're in that cog and wheel and just going around and around year in, year out. We bring in that inspiration.
You're so right. You can get so into your business and you're paying attention to all the different aspects of the business. So bringing in someone like Harmony Marketing to just look at the marketing, and marketing should be fun because it's probably going to gain you more clients and more visibility. So why shouldn't it be fun?
Absolutely. At the end of the day, no matter what we do, we're giving clients knowledge, what they want to do with that knowledge, and that diagnostic is up to them. And 9 out of 10 clients are like, great, sign me up for all those things. We need help with all that. It's fun. It really is. It's every day we get to do something fun. I think it's fun. An accountant probably would not think it's as fun, but I don't think numbers are fun. So we'll leave the accounting to them and creativity to Harmony Marketing.
Exactly. And you can tell that you just have so much joy in what you do. Magic happens when we focus on the part of ourselves and our business that brings us joy. What is one tip that you can leave with us today about how you find and live your joy?
Find what inspires you and hold on to it. If it doesn't feel right, there's a reason for that doubt. Not that you need to turn around completely or stop doing something, but really listening to what brings you pure joy and following that path.
Great advice. Because we can get so busy in our day that we think, oh, sure, we're doing what brings us joy, but are we really focused in on it?
Mm-hmm. And is it really joyful? Things that I thought brought me joy were actually just bringing me more stress that I wasn't processing as stress. And it's important to find the true joy in things.
Really good advice. You are building a wonderful company. Your branding is beautiful. It speaks for itself. And the marketing photos that you talked about are just beautiful. Thank you so much for joining us today. Can you tell our listeners how and where they can find you?
Absolutely. Website is harmonymktg.com. On Instagram, it's at harmonymktg. And on LinkedIn, it's harmonymktg.
If you are new to She Built It, we'd love for you to join us. We offer community memberships, masterminds, innovative virtual events, and meaningful connections to entrepreneurs and corporate leaders. Please also check out our She Built It shop, curated products from women-owned businesses who put their heart and soul into their beautiful and innovative products. We offer She Built It business consulting and the She Built It blog. Thank you to everyone around the world who joined today. Thank you to my editor, Rich Streffolino. Please download and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And until next time, together, let's let nothing stop us from experiencing the life that we crave.